Righto, so it's Sunday morning, we grabbed the opportunity, we just turned their music off so that we can do some videos, and I'm fortunate enough to have Dean here with his wonderful Monaro, and I've mentioned this car many times from Summernats and other places. How are you going this morning, mate?
Oh, really good, thanks Howard.
Yep.
Yeah, looking forward to the rest of the day.
Mate, unbelievable, Super 6.
Yeah, no, I was wrapped with that.
Yeah, it's a good...
bit unexpected.
Oh, well, I picked it. I'd sort of selected 8 cars I thought could get in the 6, and yours was one of them, so it was no surprise to me, and probably no surprise to a lot of other people. What I'd like to do is just get you to walk me around the car and tell me some of the things that you'd love about the car and why you've sort of done it and had downtown, build you this magnificent car. So I'm going to grab the camera, and as you talk, I'm just going to follow you around.
Okay.
Righto, away you go.
We'll just start at the front of the car here. One thing you notice is there's no second point release up here. Now it's down in the grille.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, that's something I wouldn't have known, see?
All the wiring, pipes, most of the nuts and everything are all hidden. It is just a dead stock LS3, but it's just been detailed beautifully.
Well, I mean, the best thing about a dead stock motor is it's drivable.
Big one?
The best thing about having a dead stock is it's drivable.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to driving it. I can't wait for the shows to be finished.
So,
the whole front end was custom made and designed by Graham Brewer from Downtown Customs. There's no sway bar, they use a torsion bar. It's had a 3/4 chassis put through it.
And looking the way it's done under there, obviously you plan to use it. The way it's been designed underneath, it looks like you plan on using it.
Yeah, that was the whole focus of the thing. Was the car was never supposed to be this good. It was only ever supposed to hold its own at shows, and in my head it was local shows.
Yeah, the funny thing is though, that's what happens with good cars and good builders. The whole thing grows and you end up with something like this.
Yeah, now the interior, that's something else in my opinion. Yet again, sort of Downtown Customs, they sort of fabricated a lot of things. There's a lot of 3D printing going on, especially with the dash, the door hinges, centre console. Because of my height, we had to try and get the roof lining right up. That's all made out of fiberglass and barely sits a millimetre off the roof skin. The seats are out of a Mercedes SL 500, mainly because of the integrated seat belts. And they were drastically altered, the frame, by Downtown Customs. And Brent Parker trimmed everything.
And of course we know that every time it goes somewhere it wins trim.
Yeah, well, back in 2020 it won World's Best Interior.
So for those that may not know, there was a competition and it was entered in through the...
even with the boot, all my other cars have never had spare wheels or anything, so the whole boot comes out in under a minute. It's all held in with magnets, and to get to your spare tyre and tools
you just want to pull one of those? I see you just put it back in.
It's only held in with magnets. Just real small, powerful magnets.
And for me, the quality of a car is when you look in there, it's all finished everywhere. You don't take a panel off and it's still primer.
Oh yeah, you can take a door panel off and under the door panel is like the outside of the car.
Mate, absolutely beautiful. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to seeing it when it gets on the road.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to getting out and going cruising with a few of these cars.
No worries, thank you very much.
Oh, thanks.
Well, we've grabbed a real opportunity this morning, so we've come in, and because the guys are in cleaning their cars, I'm just nailing them and getting them to show us around their cars. So this is Mike Davidson, beautiful 54. Morning.
Howard,
Fitting well, mate.
I wouldn't say fit.
So, mate, magnificent car, and you've been evolving a little bit the last, 18 months?
Yep.
And I was talking to him yesterday, pretty much ready to rock and roll, get a few miles now.
Yeah, mate, I think we've come to that point where everything we want to do with it, we've done all the major shows. There's nothing else we want to do with the look or engineering side. It's still streetable, apart from obviously carbs out of the bonnet, but we've got a scoop for that. But yeah, mate, we're ready to start cutting some laps.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. And I mean, that's the theme I find at these shows now. People get to the stage, have done a couple, it's ready to do it. We're the same with our build. So I'm going to grab the camera and I'm going to get you to tell us a bit about the car, and I'll just have a chat to you as we do it.
No worries, mate.
Righto, so I guess first up, how did it happen, mate? We're 54.
Mate, I've been mucking around with 54 Chevs for 35 years, and I've had a couple of four-doors, and this was my first sports coupe. And accumulating parts and panels and grills and stuff over the years, you get to a point, and when this came up, it was going for decent money, and I jumped on it. But I suppose it's one of those cars where all of the styling cues that you see over the last 30 years mucking around with them, with what they're doing in the States, and like the Cadillac headlight bezels, for example, they're off a 53 Caddy, and they're OE 53 Caddy headlight bezels, but they give it a better look. The standard ones don't, or the OE ones don't have the eyebrow, and they're pretty industrial looking. Similar with bumpers, like it's a one-piece bumper. They normally come as a three-piece, so it's been welded and it's been smooth, so all the coach bolts have been taken off. We've welded the grille, so it's all one piece, now it's a three-piece, and added the teeth. So with things like that, I suppose if you put a standard 54 up against it, that's when you do really see the modifications.
And I like that sort of build where you make the mods, but people then go, oh, it looks stock, and that's, having been involved with something like Tailspin, where it's obvious the car's nothing like it originally started with, compared to doing something where you're trying to do it where the car still looks factory, but cool and smooth.
Yeah. And we wanted to be subtle. We still wanted a custom without going like a full-on custom. But
tell me about the wheels,
subtle. Mate, they're actually Chip Foose designed these wheels originally for a guy in the States. That they did a 54 build about 10 years ago, and they're called Rydell Smoothies, made by Curtis Speed in California. And Mike Curtis, who used to work for Boyd Coddington, has got his own shop in California now. And I'd spent a fair bit of time in the States with work, and I hooked up with Mike over there and asked whether we could use those wheels. They're only the second set that have ever been made apart from the Foose build. And again, wanted something that was similar to the Cadzilla type wheel back in the day.
Yep, love it, yeah. So taillights and stuff?
Taillights, they're actually a moon cover, so they've got the OE lights underneath, and they're a moon bubble cover. There's two types. There's a bigger bubble like that one, the smaller ones, but again, just a subtle mod. Unless you know your 53, 54s, you don't really know whether they're OE or custom.
Righto, so inside?
Inside, look, the seats, apart from being rebuilt, they're standard seats, apart from it's obviously being re-sprung and all the internals rebuilt. A couple of little, again, subtle things, like it's got a 1959 Chevy speaker grille in the back seat, and it was one of those little custom touches where I'd seen on a few cars in the States over the years, and it was cool. And there's a big sub box behind there, so it's got a big stereo system in the back, all hidden there, so it still comes through the speaker grille.
It's funny, I love that look. I tried to get Adam and Kylie to do something like that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to put the centre button out of the FB in the rear there.
Yeah.
But they're too much street machiners and not custom.
Yeah. Well, with the badge in that speaker grille, it's actually it's a horn button which we linished down, because it's normally got an Impala badge in there, being out of a 59, and so we just linished it down and made it fit. Just. And
I mean, they're all the little things that people don't know, and I find, especially in the judging side of it, the judges probably don't know.
Yeah, well, they don't, because they don't see 54s.
That's exactly
so
right.
You do a million LX Toranas and XYs, and they know what the mods are, but when you get to something like this, they're probably pretty oblivious to what has been done to it, and there's only so many things you can put on a board.
And the lightning rods? The
lightning rods were originally out of Greg Carlson's Silver Bullet VK back in from early Sumnats days in the early 90s. And a mate and my mate bought Silver Bullet, and we raced it for a few years at Eastern Creek. And we took the lightning rods out of it because they were a nightmare on the strip, and put a mega shifter in it in the day. And I've had those for 35 years, and I always my mate unfortunately died of motor neurons about 15 years ago, and I always said to his family that I'd end up putting him in a car. So
Cool.
So they ended up there.
So the drive line?
It's 406 Dart Block Chev, built by Darren Morgan, as like top fuel Darren Morgan.
Yep.
Good mate of mine. Makes 735 horsepower. It's a stout little thing, but still streetable. It's 671 blower, quad 45mm side drafts, which once they're in tune, they never seem to go out. It's almost like injection. They're crisp and it's a really nice setup on the road. Turbo 400. It's been rebuilt by Bob Grant. It's got all the good gear in it, with 3,500 stall, and then back to the Kugel rear end.
So the Kugel's a newer addition?
Yeah, the Kugel we put in end of last year. We used to just run a fabricated 9-inch with leaf springs, and again, I probably should have done that mod prior to finishing the build, and it was I suppose finances and where we were. But then
I remember you telling me it was like always on the list, and then once you got it finished, it was like, you know what, it's going in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mate, we're lucky because I phoned Jeff Kugel one Saturday morning and said I was keen, but I need it in a couple of months, and he said he might struggle. I had a deposit on it by about 9 o'clock that morning, and we had it landed. I ended up air freighting in because I want to get it done for the Summer Nats last year, and I think we had it all done and dusted and in our workshop within 2 months.
Beautiful.
Finished, ready to roll.
Mate, absolute credit to you, and it's nice to get the owner to tell us about it, because you've just shown me a whole lot of things I had no idea about, and I love the look and feel of the car, and looking forward to see it cruising down the road.
Thanks, Howard. Always a pleasure, mate.
If you need suspension for your ride, make sure you check out Lovell's. Go on the website, lovellsauto.com.au, have a look on there, and there's a full catalogue you can go through and check out what's available for your car. So I've been really lucky. All these guys are coming in to clean their cars. Morning, Jason.
Morning, Howard.
You have a big night?
No, we just we were deciding what to do, and we were just having a few drinks and just sat around and decided to order in and
Beautiful.
stayed at home.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
yeah.
it gets a bit wearing, doesn't it, being here at these car shows?
Yeah, just
Mate, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the camera off of Dale, and we'll just have a bit of a walk around, and I want you to just to let my followers know some of the things about this car that I wouldn't have any idea what you've done. So
Okay.
I'm going to grab the camera and we'll just head our way around. So I'm a bit of an engine bay guy, so we'll probably start up the front. So just tell us a bit about what's happening in there, and yeah, away you go.
Okay, so what we have here is a 378 aluminium Donovan. To those who know, it's still a Chevrolet configuration, but Donovan is purpose-built for racing, mainly for speedway and drag racing. So that's aluminium Donovan, AFR brownfield heads, Moroso stage 4 dry sump system, Barry Grant Demon carburettor, Holly Strip high-rise Dominator manifold, intake manifold, 1/7/8 head, custom-made headers, tri-Y headers off the heads, into a 3-inch system right through to Edelbrock RPM series mufflers.
So there's a fair bit of cleaning up in the bay there by the look of it.
Yes, so we fully smoothed out and tubbed the inner wheel wells.
So they're tubbed a bit as well.
Yep.
Yep.
So those who know with Toranas, they're all sort of ugly in this area and here, and so we plenished them all up and fully seam welded where the rail joins to the skirt. Smoothed all that out, got rid of all the ugliness like along here.
Yep, all the joins and all.
Yeah, so
it's come up mint.
fully seam welded engine bay, and yeah, the theme was to have it all like a melted chocolate bar.
Right. Yeah.
So bonnet is all metal steel. These plates here are fiberglass, and they're panel bonded to the skeletal structure of the bonnet. Holes are all deleted, obviously. Yeah, so it looks like a fiberglass bonnet, but in actual reality, it's a steel one. So
in the front, so the air dam to me looks a bit different to the norm.
it is an A9X SLR configuration. all I did was re-glassed it, closed up all the gaps, made it fit
Made
nice
it
and
fit
snug.
nice, yeah.
Just tidied it up because things just wear out of the moulds and all that. And
So looking at the back there, so is that an oil cooler?
up under the wheel arch there.
What's up hanging up under
No,
the
they're the
Oh, that's
oil
part of the
ones.
dry sump?
That's part of the dry
Oh, yeah,
sump system. That feeds into the sump. The oil filter is up under the wheel arch there.
Yep. Oh, yeah, got that.
Yeah, and the pump is
Yep,
just
I've got that one as well.
right there.
So pretty sturdy looking front bar as well.
Yeah, so that's a K-Mac Group C sway bar, which the big boys like Brock and Grice and all that were using back in the day. Yeah, so the whole car's based around Group C theme.
Yep.
So
Well, you've nailed that. So your wheel sizes?
so the fronts are 225 by 18.
And then plenty of rubber under the back.
Yeah, so they're a 315 by 30 18. Legitimate three-piece Simmons.
So what sort of box you end up putting behind the door?
It is a full manualised turbo 350. Obviously one-piece tail shaft to a 9-inch diff with a true track centre, billet motor axles.
All made to work.
Yes, AP racing calipers, 4-piston calipers all round.
So what's happening inside?
So what we've got inside here is continue with the that sort of bit of a race theme. Is we have carbon fibre door trims, centre console, dash, kick panels, parcel shelf. Obviously a Bond 6-point roll cage, Mombo steering wheel.
So the old Bond cage was a bolt-in, so I had one of
Yes.
those way back in the day in the Rock 2.
Yep. And all the seats are Recaro, all Napa leather, Alcantara.
Mate, absolutely beautiful. So what's the plan now? When you're going to get a bit of track time at some stage with all the work you've done?
Well, contrary to belief, we actually have driven this car
Yep.
a little bit, even prior to MotorEx. Me and my wife Tanya we drove it from around our area, around Canberra for a
Yep.
bit, and then back home with it before commencing to get
So how
ready.
did it
Oh,
live up to spec?
yes, it's okay to have them on show and all that, but anyone will tell you, you know, when you do take them for a drive, you don't want to go home. So that's the enjoyment part, but then there's a lot of mess to clean up afterwards.
Exactly right.
So
All right, mate. Well, thank you very much for your time.
no worries, Howard.
Magnificent car.
Thank
and,
you.
Good to have a chat.
Thank you, Howard.
Righto, so I think this is the last one before we get busted for turning their music off. But I got grabbed Jim as well. He's here cleaning his car. Morning.
Morning, how are you, Hal?
Good, buddy. Mate, I love this car. I love the concept behind it and what you're doing. And I'd like you just to tell the followers about how this all come about and
Sure.
How you've got to the point where we are now.
Well, it was I was building a fiberglass roadster. I started work at Deluxe, and the car really didn't suit the style of Deluxe, as in wasn't good enough. And
Like that.
so we had an open day, and I tucked it right back in the corner, and I finished the body and had it as a roller and advertised it and sold it, and that gave me money to buy
To start on this one.
start on this.
I'm going to go to the camera and I'm going to
Yeah.
get you to just
Walk around.
chat and tell me about the
Sure.
car and the people involved. And
Yep.
Righto, we're going to fight with the music that's outside now, but that's all right. So if we talk enough, we'll be good.
Obviously it's a hot rod. I've always grown up with since I was 14, 12, thinking that a 28, 29 is a hot rod.
Yep.
That's how I was. That's how I brought up. The car itself is basically a 29 closed cab, and what we've done is put a Tudor door on it, which gave me the extra room.
Bit
in
more
the cab.
length, yep.
Yeah, that gives me the same room as a 34 cab. We've lowered the roof, obviously the 110 mil, so we've sectioned the car 110 mil above the windows.
Right.
Standard size windows.
Yep. Oh, okay, I get you. Yep.
Yeah, so we've got standard size but
Door.
lengthened.
Yeah.
So that made us section through here 80 mil out of that side to bring the swages down in line. And then because these doors are curved,
Yep.
we've had to curve the bottom panel because these came out with two model
It's
doors.
funny, I say to everybody, one change normally turns into about
has
5.
to. It's a snowball effect.
It's snowball effect,
Yeah.
yeah.
So these doors are curved, which the two model doors weren't curved.
Yep.
So that made a section curved, two back panels, 30 mil and 50 mil and 30 mil out of the panels.
Yep.
To bring them down in line. Now 3 Mitsubishi Expresses, the vans, sacrificed their roofs for this car. So the ribs, I like the ribs. So we took one roof, created that roof, put another
One in the back.
another one in the back, and then underneath we put another one as well
Cool.
to carry the theme through. And then in the trim, we formed the ribs into the flat roof trim as well.
See, they're all the things you don't see. You know, you can come and look at the car and you've got no concept. you
Yeah.
know. And it's interesting, you know, we always talk about the judging all the time, but
Yep.
with a car like this and some of the others I've just been talking to, they can't possibly know what we've done.
No, well, that's exactly right. It's an A model guys. I've had A model truck guys stand beside it and say, "How have you chopped this?" So I haven't chopped it, mate. Have another look. So they know A models and they don't realise what's going on.
So what's the front end you're running?
So it's an I-beam, SoCal I-beam, 4-inch drop, hairpins. Then it goes to a 9-inch Ford triangulated 4 bars.
So a little Windsor.
A little 289 Windsor, built by Dandy Engines. Brand new engine that came with my brother's Mustang. And I had a Cleveland in the Roadster.
Right.
The Roadster was an independent front end. We've gone the I-beam on it, on this Roadster package. And then there's about 4 foot of original chassis. It's sectioned and hairpinned, and the box on the back was created and then joined into the chassis. We gained 25 mil in the back, but the wheelbase is the 103 of the A model.
So tell me a little bit. I know there's a good backstory with the building of the car.
Yeah, well, as I said, I worked at Deluxe. I do work at Deluxe, and I was lucky because Steve allowed me to build a car in the shop. You know,
Oh, that's
gave me
nice.
space,
Yep.
turned on the lights, allowed me to keep the nights good. We'd work, I would work, and Stephen would work. Did a lot of fabricating, showed me a lot of stuff, you know. And we built the car for about 5 years. We potted on Saturdays and Friday nights and Saturdays basically, and I'd do some stuff overnight, an hour every night or something.
Yeah. Yep.
And then about at 5-year mark, Stephen goes, I think we better put an end on this. And so we put out a Facebook call, or just mates, and said, what do you reckon, you want to come on a Saturday and do barbecues and rub, you know, as you
Get
know.
it ready. Yeah.
The paintwork was 27 times in total.
Yeah.
To get
yeah.
to
The
there,
runs.
as you
Yeah.
know.
Yep.
And, you know, I had a group of probably 12 people that some did, some didn't, come on a Saturday. We'd have a barbecue, no alcohol, coffee, you know, soft
Build
drinks.
cars.
Some knew, some didn't. We called it the Rub Club, and that was okay because we had girls involved as well.
Yep.
And, you know, young guys, old guys, guys with cars, guys never had cars, blokes who were building cars, took what they learnt and went home and said, I've got to do that better
Yeah.
on their own car.
Yeah.
So,
Bloody awesome.
and they helped us along the way, and I wouldn't be here, you know, wouldn't have been here last year without the help of, like, there's
All those
15
people.
guys. And,
Mate, thanks very much.
no worries at all.
Appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time.
I appreciate
and,
your input as well.
No
I
worries.
love you. I love your, you know, I'm on Facebook all the time looking at your stuff, so
Awesome.
follow
All right, buddy.
All right, thanks
very
Harold.
much.
Thank you.